Landen. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on Monday nights. Glad an opportunity to sit down, get to know you, get an opportunity our listeners to get to know you, and looking forward just to learn some new stuff tonight. My math serves me right. You've been doing this since you were barely out of diapers. What got you into racing? What age did you start? How did this all kick off? Like, at that age, most people ain't thinking about a racing career.
No, definitely not at 4 years old. I don't think anyone's, looking at a racing career. But I got started at my family involved in racing all my life. And I grew up at the racetrack, watching my dad race. And I always kind of knew I wanted to do it, at that age. And then my dad gave me the opportunity one day to just try it out. And I guess ever since then, it's just kicked off from 4 years old to 17. So it's been really fun, honestly, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Can you even remember a day of not racing? Like, can you remember life before racing?
Honestly, not really. I don't. I remember, I think, what the day was of my first day in racing, but definitely don't remember the day before that.
Looks like early in your career you started off with a lot of success with essentially 8 championships in the GoKart series and a national winner. A lot of wins. What was that like? Did that help with the confidence? Was there a lot of learning curve? That's a lot of wins and a lot of championships in your younger years. Was there any time frame that it wasn't as easy going with all the wins, and was there a lot of learning in those early years?
Well, there's definitely a lot of learning, I feel like, in any, form of racing. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you're always learning something every time you hit the racetrack. So there was definitely a lot of learning, but it was just really cool. Go-kart was my first thing. So I did those for about, I'd say 12 years, or not 12 years, probably honestly about 8 or 9 years. And I did that for a while and learned a lot, and then finally was able to move on from there and had a really good success, I feel like, in my go-karting career. And then I moved on from there and went to dirt modifieds and started racing for Ron Hornaday with his program, and it really hit off really well. We got 2 wins and right off the bat, and then ever since then it just kind of took off as far as my racing career from then.
At what point was that a conversation? Like, when did you or your family feel that it was time for you to move up into the modified series?
I'm not sure. My dad, he's kind of seen, I guess, the progression I was making as far as in go-karting. And I guess he just seen something and figured it was time to make this step up. And he actually got in contact. We went to a local dirt track by my house and watched one of Ron's modifieds win the race. And my dad's like, we definitely got to get in contact with him and get one of those modifieds. They look really fast. And so we ended up getting in contact with Ron's daughter about getting a modified, and actually drove up here for one of my banquets that I had for go-karting. And I honestly was really surprised. I didn't know that was going to happen. My dad never told me until I actually got to Ron Hornaday's shop and was able to end up buying a modified that day from Ron. And then Ron actually come to my first race and watched me, and I guess seen something in me that he, I guess, wanted to keep helping me. And ever since then, it's just Ron's been behind me 100%. The whole Hornaday family has invited me into their family 100%. So it's just really cool to be a part of the family, and really cool that they've helped me.
So I want to make sure I got this right, because this seems like just like a dream come true. Essentially, you guys just called up Ron Hornaday and said, look, we feel he needs to be in one of your cars, and that was kind of how it all got going?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I've heard. What my dad told me, it's kind of how it went down. We went on Facebook, found their Facebook page, found the phone number on their Facebook page, called the number. It was Ron's daughter, and she invited us up and said, yeah, we got a modified for sale if you want to buy one. I guess come on up, and we went up and ended up buying the modified that day, and ever since then it's just kind of took off from there.
Obviously the resume speaks for itself even at that point. That's just like, how cool is that to have somebody big, somebody local, somebody, you idolize, just give you an opportunity. Just like, you know what? All right, I'll take a shot in the dark. Let's do this. That's just really cool. You don't get that from everybody everywhere, especially other sports as well. So that's really cool. But the success and the road doesn't stop there. Legend cars. You've made a pretty big name for yourself and did something that most other drivers have not been able to do. As a matter of fact, you're only the second driver to do this. Talk a little bit about your Legends career.
My Legends career honestly has been really great, and it's something that I'm very thankful for of how it honestly all come together. It's pretty cool. The guy I drive for, Joe Ryan Race Cars, he actually dates Ron Hornaday's granddaughter. So it kind of comes in full circle, and I actually went and tested one day at Concord before they closed down and tested one of his cars, and Ron come to the track with us, and they said that I did a really good job, and we went down to Florida for a big national event that U.S. Legend Cars has every year down there at Citrus County, and I ended up winning my second race ever in one of those cars. And so I guess from there it kind of took off, and ever since then just been full at it. Ended up winning the trifecta last year, or the year before last, and was able to win dirt, asphalt, and road course world finals. So I guess that's definitely a highlight in my career, but really cool to be a part of Joe Ryan Race Cars and my Legend Cars.
Landon, I have a question for you, Craig. Landon, I have a question for you. Craig Moore here from South Florida. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
You know what? We're above ground taking nourishment. It's a great day.
That's right.
For people that don't know what a Legend car is, it might be tuning into this show for the first time. Briefly explain to us what a Legends car is in layman's terms.
A Legend car, honestly, it's very hard to drive. They have really short wheelbase. They have a lot of power with very little grip. So you have to learn how to drive, I feel like, on the edge every lap to be really, really fast. So they're really cool cars. You sit in the middle of them. They have motorcycle motors in them. You know, the shifting is 1 down, 5 up, so just like a motorcycle. Short wheelbase, low grip, so you're on the edge of your seat, I feel like, at all points of the race and the time you're in them. So that's about Legend cars, I guess, in a roundabout way, just really fast.
That's awesome. Go ahead, CJ. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. Speaking of the trifecta, for someone, it's Leighton turns, I'm going the same place he is. Speaking to those that don't keep up with the Legend Series, one, how big of a deal is the trifecta? I understand you're only the second to do it, but how many years have they been doing this trifecta? Is this something that's a long-going tradition, something that is a newer tradition for those that don't keep up with the Legend Series?
Well, so I guess I could tell you about the trifecta and what it means. It's honestly, so every year U.S. Legend Cars, they put on 3 national events for dirt racing, road course racing, and oval racing. And everyone from around the country, the world, comes to this race, right? And so I actually ended up winning the dirt portion of it in the semi-pro class, and then I won the road course portion of it, and then I won the oval portion of it. So I won all 3 types of their events that they had, and was able to win the races against everyone in the country and everyone in the world that comes to that race. So it's a really cool deal, and I was, fortunate enough I was the second ever to do it. So just really cool to be a part of that.
Now, last year you got an opportunity to run in the ARCA series. How much different was that for you? And in all these different types, the GoKarts, the modified, the Legends, and the ARCA series, how much of a difference is the driving style? How much, I guess, iRacing or practice time do you got to take to adjust to different cars, or are they pretty similar? Well, obviously, the way you talked about the Legends car, there's nothing really similar to that. But what's it like transitioning from one series to the next, or i.e. one car to the next?
It's very different, obviously, just because, a stock car to a Legend car or a dirt modified, it's very big, very heavy, very fast, have a lot of power. So it's just a lot of stuff going on, I feel like, underneath you, too, as far as suspension and stuff like that. So it's a lot you honestly have to learn, and a lot that goes into them, and a lot that goes into winning one of those races. One of those races are honestly more effort than anything, I feel like, because everything has to go right. Everything in your day has to go perfect, and as a driver, you have to do everything right. So it's the stock car stuff is definitely different, but I feel like if any driver is good, they can hop into any forms of those racing and do very well.
Now, I've seen a little bit of highlights, and of course, your resume, a mile long. Good God. Different tracks. It's always interesting to me in what drivers prefer. Are you a road course super speedway? I mean, obviously having, especially the ARCA series, having that win on a road course, I'm sure that road courses got to be a very comfortable thing for you. But what kind of track do you prefer? The super speedways, the media, what size? What I'm looking for? The 1.5 mile tracks. I'm drawing a blank on what we actually call those these days. And even the short tracks. Is there any one you prefer over another?
It's funny that you asked that question because honestly, a lot of people ask me that and they're like, what do you think, like, what do you like the most? And I'm like, honestly, like road racing, it's something that I don't come from. It's not a background that I come from. I come from a dirt background. So, I would say road racing is really, really fun because it's something different, right? There's 12 corners. There could be, there's multiple corners. There's a lot of stuff going on throughout every corner and different techniques that you have to use in every corner. So, I mean, obviously oval and dirt racing is a blast, but road racing is just something different, and it's always something new, right? So I think road racing is just very, very fun to me.
And I agree with you, and I like how NASCAR has changed. I remember growing up, and I never cared for road courses, but it's like the same two road courses, Sears Point, Watkins Glen. That was really it in the 80s and 90s. It kind of gives you my age a little bit. I like what NASCAR has done with the street, like the Chicago street race and Indy changing up, just giving us a little variety. Because then you got to get sucked into these tracks versus just seeing the same two tracks year in and year out. So I think that the road courses have definitely become a more popular track to watch and go to. I think people are really embracing it more than the early days because everybody got tired of watching these ringers come in because the Cup guys just really weren't road course drivers. And now you guys coming in, you guys spend a lot more time on the road course, and I like that. This year, I know you got a schedule of races. I know you got some more still coming up. Let's talk a little bit about 2023, how this year has gone for you so far. What was the goals for the year, and what do you still have coming up for the rest of your season?
Yeah, definitely in 2023. It's been an amazing year, honestly. Being able to lead the points in the ARCA Menard Series, leading the points. We were leading the points. We're 1 point back out of first now, so very, very close points battle on that side of things. We've won a race. We've finished inside the top 5 every race, I feel like. So it's been honestly really good year for all of us. On the ARCA side, with Cook Racing Technologies, Bruce Cook and everyone over there have brought me a really fast car everywhere we've been, so I can't thank them enough and always sticking with me and wanting to get better, right? There's never ending there of wanting to get better and learning every day. That side's been really well. The Legend Car side, I haven't done much this year, but the races I've done, we've ran really, really well. We won the road course championship out in Vegas earlier this year. Was really good in Nashville when we raced there at the fairgrounds. So the Legend Car side is going really, really well, and I just honestly, 2023 has been a really great year for me.
Do you still do schooling? Obviously, 17 years old. You're still in that younger age. You do schooling. Did you graduate early? What's your education, and how's that working around a race career?
It's obviously I just graduated high school this year. I graduated a year early, so did 2 years in one. It was definitely tough. It was definitely tough while racing, but I knew that I had to get it done just because I want to focus on racing and put all my focus towards it to try to give myself the best opportunity to make it to one of the top 30 series in NASCAR. So I'm done with school, but I did do homeschool, so that made life a little easier. But definitely school, I really enjoyed it for sure.
And a couple of last things, we'll get you out of here. I kind of like to step away from the sport itself for a second and let the fans get to know you a little bit personally in your spare time. You get a weekend to kind of get away and do what you want to do, nothing race related, just kind of hang out with some high school friends or neighborhood friends that you grew up with. What would you do? What's a fun time for a weekend for you?
There's honestly not a lot of weekends that I get to do that, either racing every weekend or in the shop working with all the guys and just trying to get myself better and learning the car. So there's not a lot of weekends that I get off, but I enjoy it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I guess the weekends that I do get off, I like to go on the boat. Going Lake Norman here is really fun. I like to do that. I like to hunt, fish. Just being outside, honestly, is really fun to me. Anything I get to do outside is definitely a blast.
Now, where you stay, is that close to Charlotte?
Yes, I live in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Okay. It had supplies or hometown. I never heard of that on your site. Like I said, I spent 25 years in North Carolina. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I've been to Hall of Fame. Did a couple events out there with Chip Ganassi Racing. They used to hold a sound garage thing. So really kind of familiar with that whole area. It's a beautiful, beautiful area that way. A lot of racing. Been to a couple local tracks out that way as well. But I want to thank you, Landen, for coming on, giving us an opportunity to get to meet you, get to know you, with the fans, get to hear your story, and get to know a little bit about you. Hopefully later on in the season, get some more races underneath the belt, and we get towards the end of the season, we get you back on and see how the season ended and what the plans are for 2024. But wish you the best of luck on your upcoming races, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you guys for having me on, and I'd like to thank all my sponsors before I go off. Rent Source, American Resurface Incorporated, MMI, Lulu's Waterfront, Cook Racing Technologies, Team Hornet Development, just everyone that makes it possible. It wouldn't be, obviously, my mom and dad for giving me this opportunity. It just wouldn't be possible without anybody. So big thanks to everyone, and thank you guys for having me on.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
you don't want to forget mom and dad.
Yeah, definitely don't want to leave out that.
Make sure you guys check out his site, www.landenlewis.com. A lot of great things going on there. His upcoming race. Make sure you guys go out and get to the track and check him out. Landen, you have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.